Welcome, travelers. Hey, come in. Take a seat and pour yourself a drink as you listen to Not Just NPCs podcast. Here's your hosts, your guides, if you will, Krios and Sprocket.
Welcome back to another episode of Not Just NPCs podcast. I am your host, Krios, joined always by my co-host, Sprocket.
Hello.
How's it going, Sprocket?
It's going pretty good. Glad to have the holidays behind us. Got all that family obligation out of the way. Always enjoy it and love it, but it's always stressful too. So glad that's done.
I'm a little sad, but it's okay. We're supposed to do our Curse of Strahd campaign. We're supposed to start that back up tonight. But weather, stupid snow. So we're gonna postpone until tomorrow, so that's okay. So
oh yeah.
I can wait one more day.
It'll be glorious.
I was looking forward to it though.
Yeah. Well, of course. I mean, we all are, absolutely. And that's why tomorrow is going to be a legendary night, because we'll be getting back into it.
Today, I think we're going to talk about it was Amazon Prime, correct? That's where we
Yeah.
on? Yeah. But the Amazon Prime show, Secret Level, came out back in December. They had a D&D episode as the very first one. And then the Warhammer one was the 5th episode, I believe.
Yeah, I think
And
you're right.
then there was 15 other total episodes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I forgot there was that many in there.
Well, 13 plus the 2 I just mentioned. So
Yeah,
15
well,
total.
yeah.
And most of those were basically more on like video games, I think.
Yeah, they were all surrounding some form of game.
Yeah, I didn't recognize any of them.
Yeah, there was a few in there that I knew, and a few, because a few of them are upcoming games that haven't been released yet. I had to look them up. That's how I know this. A few of them were upcoming games, and a few of them, like the one for the game Concord, I think it was. I think that's the name of it.
Okay. Episode 13.
Yes, Sony canceled that. So that already came out, was a live service for a while, and died. And Sony killed it because its player base was so low. And I think there's a whole controversy behind that I'm not very privy to.
Of course.
But anyways, so that they unfortunately went through the trouble of making this gorgeous episode for a game that was literally already dead in the ground. But some of the other ones I know are games coming out, and then obviously old school D&D, Warhammer, things that's been around since like
Pac-Man.
80s. Dude, that Pac-Man episode.
That one got me. I was not expecting the end of that.
I wasn't either. That was cool. What a cool twist.
Oh my gosh, it makes total sense now.
Yeah, that was a cool concept. The Mega Man one was cool to see, but it was kind of like, okay, it's like his origin. I mean, all the episodes anywhere between 8 and 15 minutes, I think.
Oh yeah, they're super short. I watched it in like one day almost. I think 2 days.
Yeah, it was cool to like get just these little snippets of each world, but especially ones that, of course, we both care greatly about, which would be like D&D.
Yeah, I watched that one a couple times.
I did too. That was actually pretty badass. I was a big fan.
We'll get into that in a bit here. The last episode 15, was very interesting because you said that it was combination of a bunch of different video games. We play Helldivers together a lot, and I swore, I was like, that's Helldiver. This is not a Helldiver episode. Like, I'm so confused right now because I didn't recognize half the other things in the episode, and I was like, wait, this has got to be like a combination thing or something.
Yeah,
it was. You said it was like when we were talking earlier, it was all, was it PlayStation?
Yeah, all PlayStation licensed characters and games. Yeah, like an homage to all of them, I guess, all together, which was really cool. I hope that they did good enough. I'm pretty sure every character we saw in that episode also could deserve their own
for
separate
sure,
episode.
yeah.
I mean, obviously Helldivers would be amazing.
That would be such a good one.
See, and I mean, Sony's already going to do a movie for Helldivers, so you could.
Are they really?
Yeah, they announced that they're going to actually do a movie for it. So you could do a small episode. Obviously, God of War classic. I mean, there were several like iconic, big PlayStation names in there that could have easily gotten their own separate episode as well. But yeah, that was really cool to see the Helldivers running around.
Yeah.
I think they were yelling about liberty too.
Yeah,
I need to rewatch
democracy.
that episode. Yeah, democracy. Yeah,
yeah, it was funny. Being an RPG, not video game podcast, we are going to focus in on the D&D episode and the Warhammer one, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
So we just wanted to touch on the other ones real quick because it's a really good series. Like, I enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
I kid you not. I swore this is an animated episode. This is an actual Oh wait, no, it is animated. It took me a second.
Yeah, they were so
the
good.
Graphics were so good in some of those episodes. I think they did different types of graphics for each episode too. It kind of seemed like.
Yeah, I think they try to mix it up just like Love, Death, and
Mm-hmm.
Robots, where it was a different animator for each
Yeah.
set to fit whatever game style. I mean, the one episode of New World, which is an MMO on Amazon, which I don't know very much about, but it's the one that Arnold Schwarzenegger did the voice of.
Yeah, the one guy kept dying.
Yes, which was so amazing, and it was so funny, and actually had a really heartfelt ending, which was cool. As soon as that one went off, at first I was like, did they CG like a younger Arnold into this? And I was like, oh no, this is just all computer generated, like the whole thing.
Yeah,
Like,
I noticed that
so
too.
cool.
That a lot of the episodes, whoever was the voice actor, they made it look somewhat similar to them.
Yeah, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Like, it's so neat. And it kind of like brings them more to life too, because you already know what the real person looks like. So to kind of add that into the character really made them pop, I thought.
Season 1 of Secret Level, episode 1, was called Dungeons and Dragons: The Queen's Cradle. If you have not seen it, go ahead and pause this, go to Amazon Prime, and watch it. It'll take you less than 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And welcome back from doing that. So
you're right, because we about to spoil everything if you haven't seen it.
100%. The description of it says, on the hunt for a dragon cult, a band of adventurers rescues a boy who's haunted by a sinister force. First off, this was a great episode. As a game master, I'm like, oh, that would be a great idea to do. Later in the episode, when they got to the bridge,
oh, that was so awesome.
There was this person with their hands held out holding like a sword, and the bridge was a sword. That is the coolest thing in the world.
So
I was like,
cool.
It made me think of how easy it is to bring your worlds to life by adding things like that to them.
Big time.
And you just don't think about, like, you come across a wooden bridge. Oh, I crossed it. One of the planks broke, your leg fell through. What do you do?
Yeah, right.
Instead, you got this stone bridge that is a sword, and it was just super cool.
And it was epic too. Yeah. Like it was just so epic, like very Lord of the Rings epic.
Yes.
Like it was just massive fantasy scale that.
Yeah, that was a long bridge they had across.
Oh man, right, crazy, and they did it all on foot. You know, like
no, they were riding.
Oh, that's right. They were riding the druid.
Yep,
because the druid was a boar.
They had a horse, I think, too.
And the paladin had the horse. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, beginning of the episode starts out with
good call. You're right.
Well, we should probably rewind before we get there.
You're right. We did jump a little bit.
That's like midway, almost to the end. Yeah. I just had to bring that up because I thought that was the thing that stuck out the most to me was they're just the bridge of like the imagery of it.
Yeah.
The beginning starts out with the adventuring party coming across a bandit camp. You don't ever see any of the bandits, but you see this cage, basically. In the cage is this boy, and they rescue the boy, and he's got all these like tattoos on him and stuff, and he's hearing these voices in his head since he's, I guess for a long time, it sounded like, since he was like a child or something.
Yeah, they say he's been carrying it for his whole life. So he was raised to be
a sacrifice.
Yeah.
So he was supposed to be a sacrifice to Tiamat.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Bring in Tiamat as the villain. Like that.
Yeah.
What a cool villain to bring in. I mean, that was one of the coolest things I thought was, for me, it was like trying to guess what each character was, like what class they were.
Oh, yeah.
Because they said it. Most of them say it eventually. You see it's like this raging boar.
100% druid.
Yeah. Well, my first thought was, I was like, all right, it's either a druid or it's like a ranger.
A
boar? Oh, no, it's too big. It's a giant boar. It's a druid. It was cool to kind of like, they kept the classes iconic enough where you can immediately tell what they are. Like when they're back in camp and the boy, stabs the paladin from the vision. He thinks he's stabbing Tiamat, and he stabs the paladin. He's got the shield and everything, and she heals. I mean, like, okay, well, you're the paladin. It's automatically backed up by the mage going, oh, we really need to clear it. It's like, okay, well, then you're definitely the paladin. Because clerics can wear heavy armor in D&D.
Yeah, so, I was like, are they a cleric for a second? And then they said, we need a cleric. I was like, okay, it's not a cleric then.
It's the right thing to do. Like, she always had that, as some people say, the right to stick up their ass, where it's like, we do this because it's right, not because,
she
should or shouldn't.
Control as the leader, too.
Yeah, absolutely, which was great.
So there was a druid, a paladin. The druid, it looked like they were a half-orc.
Yeah. I think they were half orc, yeah.
Yeah. The paladin looked like... Oh, I'm trying to remember what they look like now. Was it just half elf or human or?
I think, because she was white with black markings across her face, wasn't she? Oh no.
Yes.
I feel like that's I say newer race, but I don't think that's like a core race. Oh, it says somewhere, and the internet lights us up in a glorious, righteous fire because we didn't know the race of the paladin.
I mean, you could be a half elf with human ears, though, right?
That's true. You 100% can be.
You don't necessarily have to have elf ears. So maybe she's some type of half elf. I bet we could just Google what her race was.
Yeah, I know. I was looking at pictures of her too, and I was like, we probably could just Google this.
I don't know why we're doing this the hard way.
It's more fun.
Oh, people are saying Goliath.
Oh. Well, she did say, I mean, that was part of her backstory,
Yeah.
That she was ruthless and she
According
murdered.
to Reddit, at least,
This one breakdown of an episode on a different site says drow. She's a drow paladin.
Seen a lot of Goliath things.
Oh yeah, everybody down here is now saying not a drow Goliath.
Yeah, and looking at the picture on D&D Beyond of a Goliath, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks just like
totally
her face.
A Goliath. Well, at least we know now, though.
Yeah, you got a Goliath paladin. You have what I say the druid was? Half-orc? Half-orc druid. And then it looked like a gnome for...
The mage?
What was he? That was the one I wasn't positive on, because he looked like... I thought he was either a barbarian, a fighter...
Oh, you're talking about the dwarf?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. The dwarf was a monk.
Okay. I wasn't... Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the dwarf was 100% a monk, and they did a really good job, because you don't see monks very much normal D&D canon, because they usually do paladins and fighters and wizards and stuff.
Which is probably why I wasn't even thinking monk.
Yeah, they actually did a dwarf monk, and they did a really good job of making him look just straight badass. I mean,
sure.
He one-shot a monstrous creature charging him with whatever quaking palm, whatever it is they use. Like, it was awesome.
I love that you can tell, that's this spell.
Yeah.
I don't know that many spells. I'm like, that was just cool.
Yeah. Well, like with a druid.
Strange glow to me.
Yeah, with a druid did like the wind wall. I was watching it with my fiance and I'm calling it out. I'm like, oh, wind wall. I'm like, oh, it's all he's doing is gust to knock him off the bridge. That's so cool,
Yeah.
So I love it. I love sitting there like trying to like guess it out as it's happening.
Yeah, and then you had the what's the species I'm thinking of for the little lady?
The gnome. She looked like a rock gnome to me. She's probably like a rock gnome mage. Well, she did use her book, which implies wizard, right?
Because wizards use a book, I think.
You're right. So she's probably a wizard. Because
I was thinking sorcerer at first.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about sorcerer. So she probably was a wizard because she was using her book for all of her spells. Yeah. So that makes sense. And she loved fire, at least, right?
Well, she only used the book, actually, to open the door. And then the fire she just did by herself.
That's true. Yeah, she just snapped to use the fire, which is why I was thinking... I think I said mage earlier. I meant sorcerer. I was thinking wild sorcerer was the thing, but it's like she wasn't a wild sorcerer for sure.
I mean, she could have been a sorcerer if she just... though she would have to channel her magic through something, so maybe she did it through the book.
Circling back to when she was casting spells and snapping.
I mean, she doesn't necessarily need an arcane focus, it says. If you're a sorcerer... You can use one, but you don't necessarily need it, if I'm reading, according to Google.
Well, maybe she's just high enough level.
Yeah.
Like, game-wise.
I've never played Sorcerer before.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm always DMing, so...
Well, I'm about to say, usually, Druid is the highest, most complicated spellcaster I've ever used, so...
Yeah.
But I liked it when she was facing off against the Lich, and he was walking up to her,
and just kept snapping his fingers.
Yeah, which was counterspell. Every time he did it, I was sitting there going, counterspell. Oh, it's counterspell. Oh, he's rolling great. Counterspell. Oh, God.
Man, those nat 20s he's throwing out there.
Right. God, how many spell slots does this bastard have? Counterspell.
Yeah.
But that was really cool, too, having like a Lich to serve the cult. Because that's another really terrifying enemy that you don't see very much, like in mainstream. No. So that was really cool to see a Lich too.
Yeah, but he was right. I don't know what the creature was he was riding, but it looked like a bat face.
Yeah, it was bat-like.
It was completely white.
I wonder if it was gargoyle of some sort, probably. If I had to guess. That'd be my monster guess, would be gargoyle. I'll have to break out my monster manual and start rereading.
Oh, dude, don't even bother, because that new one's coming out.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
I've been watching episodes off of it from like YouTube.
Like
D&D.
People showing stuff.
No, well, that and just D&D Beyond's official YouTube page.
Oh yeah, okay.
I saw two. One was just talking about the book in general, and the other one was talking about the dragons.
Oh,
I would say I'm still fairly new to D&D. I mean, I've been doing it for going on 5 years now.
Yeah,
but I'm still learning stuff because it's not like I do it every day.
Yeah, 1,000%. Me too. 1,000%.
Well, I didn't realize this, but which makes total sense after especially watching this episode. Dragons, in my mind, dragons are just evil. But apparently, there's how you have chromatic and metallic? Chromatic ones are the evil ones, and metallic ones are actually mostly good.
Yeah.
And I just never thought of using a dragon that way or thinking of that.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because there's a dragon in the end of Secret Level that's a good dragon.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only reason why I know anything about that is because of Vox Machina.
Yeah.
And not the cartoon, but like actually like Matt Mercer, because he breaks a lot of that down when he was doing their almost last story arc with dragons. Council of the Dragons, and he was breaking down because they were the same way because they switched over from Pathfinder to D&D. So a lot of their players back in the day were like, dragons work together? How does this work? And so he broke down how that works in D&D, and I'm like, oh, okay. And that's literally the only way I know anything at all, and that's still 10 years old, so that all that's gonna be out of date for all I know. But it was cool to see an actual like good dragon with superpowers, like helping them and being like all about being righteous versus just being greedy or whatever. It was really neat to see them kind of bring in that character. That particular dragon, I'm sure they said his name
in Secret Level.
Yeah, I'm sure the golden dragon. I don't know if they said his name.
They did,
but I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm wondering if he's like maybe like a main character, like other stories, like a Oriole. There you go. Because I don't know enough about dragon lore, like we were just saying, to know if maybe he's in other big stories. Because I've not played that many mainstream storylines. It's usually the very few I've been in have been all homebrew.
I've never actually done a dragon homebrew before.
Yeah.
Like, usually you just throw one in here or there.
Like, I know about Tiamat. Like, Tiamat's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
As a villain and an idea. I mean, it obviously, and also it just fits Dungeons and Dragons, right? If you want a dragon to deal with, how about one with 6 heads or whatever? That also inspires to be a god. How about that? Let's just throw them in the mix.
I'm trying to figure out if Oriole is D&D lore. Yes, Oriole is a character in D&D lore. Gold dragon who appears in the Queen's Crash Falls. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we know that. Okay. We know that in the episode. What about actual lore, though? Symbol of hope, fairness, honor, and sacrifice. Gold dragons are known for their wisdom and power, often intervene to save the world.
Which is so cool.
That's the gold dragon. And then there's Oriole, the sun elf warlock. So maybe that's the D&D lore one.
Interesting. That's so cool.
Either way, they used the dragon in the end. After they rescue the boy from the bandits, they end up getting found and they start to run, riding on the back of a horse and the druid as a boar, which you don't see many people actually shapeshift into.
No, you don't.
It's always when you get high enough, it's always the owlbear.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And
for obvious reasons.
and then just something that hits hard until you get to that.
Yeah. Yeah, seeing the boar was really cool. That was a cool idea. Again, it's like just like the monk. It's cool seeing them pull out things you don't see a lot in mainstream D&D and actually showcase them, which was great.
Yeah, so then they get chased. They cross the sword bridge, and then they make their stand as they're opening the doorway with magic. They fight all the people. The two of them head inside, the boy and the paladin. As the other ones continue to fight, they split the party.
Much the DM's delight.
Yes. And then the gold dragon heals the boy from his affliction, I guess.
Takes the curse onto himself.
Yep. And it's really cool how they had it visualized with the tattoos floating off of his body.
100%. Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, and then big spoiler. Here we go. The dragon takes the curse and supposedly destroys it. In the past, that's what the dragon would do. It would take on the curse and then destroy it. Yeah. But the curse was too powerful and strong that it actually destroyed the dragon.
Yeah,
so and it, like, withers in pain and just falls to the ground, dies.
Oh, bro, bust out from the inside out.
Yeah. The gold on him turning this black rat.
Yeah, and it shimmers off him.
Yeah.
When he busts out, which was so cool.
Like, yeah, just cool like effect. The tattoo kind of flies off the boy. After that happens, all of a sudden, this wing pops out of his dead, almost like a snake shedding its skin. That's what it reminded me of.
Oh, 100%.
And I'm just thinking, this is such great visual aid assistance for something you could do in your campaigns. Oh yeah, it dies and it transforms. Well, how does it transform? Like, explain that. What's it look like? Bring your campaigns to life for those of you out there that are GMs. Well, and then Tiamat appears.
Yeah, which is amazing. And like that's like the cool thing of them doing more ideas to bring certain scenes more to life is obviously video and scenes like this, but also books too. If you have time to read, there's so many D&D books out there and fantasy books out there. If you're trying to capture like a specific world or something in your mind for your homebrew, that you can read that and it can really help in your own head flush out your idea and what you want and how you want it to be explained. Because obviously in the book they're explaining it to you, so you can almost self-teach yourself how to explain it even better to your players. Kim busting out of that poor golden dragon and how he started like turning black and rotting, and then all of a sudden the gold explodes. I mean, that was so cool. That was such a cool visual. You know, you can only imagine if we didn't see it for the first time, but if our DM was, or telling us about it as we were players, like how that would be like, what's happening? Oh my God, this is crazy. What's happening right now? That would be so cool.
Yeah, and then they all stand together and the boy ends up becoming the cleric that they were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I first watched it, because you had already watched it, and then you told me about it. I watched the first episode of D&D. Tiamat appears, and all the dragons do their breath weapon, and the cleric puts a shield up and protects from all of them. Okay. And then...
Listen to that hate. Listen to that DM hate right there. Sure, they would survive that.
Sure. Sanctuary. I still remember when you used that against me. Anyways.
Yeah.
He protects them, then the breath weapon stops, and then there's just a wall of like fire in front of them, and the heads, they all stand and they're saying, no, we'll stay this together. And all the heads come towards the party, and that's where it ends. The episode just comes out that. I remember I texted you, I was like, yeah, they all died. No way they survived that.
I mean, but that's the whole fantasy of D&D, right? Yeah. It's like you and a couple of your buddies, are fighting against the final god, whatever, evil super being that would smear anybody who's just an average adventurer. You've come all this way. They've got the cleric that could hold the curse his entire life, and now he believes and he's super powerful, and he's got all these other amazing adventures with him. Surely they're gonna succeed. Let's see them dice rolls. Let's see how far they got.
Yeah,
but you're right. It is funny to be like, well, the cleric's not even wearing armor, so what's the chances like, really? He's got to be a level 1 cleric, right? Like, he couldn't be that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, just holding back 6 heads of a dragon, breathing fire, 5 heads, whatever it is.
It's the fantasy of it, the idea that you're standing up against the greatest of evil together.
Yeah, it was a good episode, though. I enjoyed it.
It was great.
Yeah, it gave me a lot of inspiration for my own campaigns and
absolutely
ideas of like, oh yeah, we're putting a sword bridge somewhere in there. Yep, we're doing that. Oh, tattoos flying off the body. Yep, that's gonna be incorporated somehow.
For Chris, that's done.
Yep, taking notes.
Yeah. There was a moment, especially watching the dwarf hold the bridge. I'm like, damn, maybe for Spelljammer I should go monk. Ooh, that does look pretty awesome.
It really got me thinking though about how narrative description can work throughout your whole game. It's so much different playing a game where somebody says, yeah, you cross the bridge, the door opens, on the other side is a gold dragon, compared to you cross this stone bridge that's shaped like a sword being held by this stone statue that's 100 times your size. And when you get to the end, there's a giant doorway with intricate relics all on it, and in order to open it, you cast the spell, and then you see the spell glowing. In the episode, ice hits the doorway to kind of stop it from opening any farther, keeping it open. And then you just get in there, and just all the descriptive things that a lot of people miss on just the subtlest of things, as far as what your spell looks like when you cast it. My personal opinion on it is, as a GM and a player, I think the player's responsible for coming up with their own descriptive on what their spells look like, because that's just too much work for the GM. I know, because I GM all the time. I'm busy trying to figure out how to run my monsters that I have against you guys, what their spells and stuff do, for one thing, and then what it looks like, and then trying to narrate the whole battle is a lot of work to come up with. Okay, yeah, your Eldritch Blast hits. Next.
Right.
I have lost ideas of how to make it cooler.
Right. And I mean, like, battle takes so long anyways, just in general, that it gets exhausting. I mean, I 1,000% back you up, because to me too, having your character, explaining your character's attack adds more personality to your character, other than just role playing. My artificer, night 1, when we're doing the stuff with the dire wolves and he's running away, when he didn't just turn around and just cast grease. He's an artificer. He can't technically cast spells. So I added that he had a pump on his hip that he threw his coat back, and he hit this pump, and then it squirted the grease out from his palms. That's how I imagined it. That's how I explained it to you. Or when he had recall on his hammer really early on, he had a magnetized brace on his gauntlet, and that's how he did it. So so he threw his hammer, and then he would slap the magnetized brace, and the hammer would fly back to his hand. Like, it wasn't just magic. It was, he had different ways to make his techniques work. His reactive shield, or his shoulder pads. I always use have them activate. He doesn't cast shield himself. He can't. So he has devices to do that for him. Like, stuff like that. And makes it more yours.
Even if you were like a wizard or a sorcerer where you're casting all these spells, instead of saying, I cast Eldritch Blast, you don't even need to say the word Eldritch Blast. As long as your DM knows what you're doing and you've talked about it beforehand, you can just say, I cast a spell, and this blue arcane energy comes out of my fingertips and shoots across the battle arena and hits them dead in the eye.
Yeah, well,
that's so much cooler than just being like, I cast Eldritch Blast. What do you do this round? I cast Eldritch Blast. All right, third round. What are you going to do? I cast Eldritch Blast.
Right. King Crawl, who...
Gosh, I hate that turtle.
I love him at the same time. I know. He's a giant... He's my steel defender, so he's a giant robot turtle.
And for those of you listening, this turtle has saved the party's life on multiple occasions, and I have no idea how.
He's gotten final hits on bosses more than the party.
He's gotten so many nat 20s by himself. I think he has more than your entire party combined.
Oh, definitely more than I've ever rolled for my character. He only has one attack, which is Rend, right? Force Rend. We talked about before. I've had him run up before, and I've had like a little thing on his shell flap open, like a little flap come open, and a little rod comes out and hits him with like a little bit of lightning. He's not doing lightning damage. We both know that.
Yeah.
But it's flared instead of me just going, no, okay, he does Force Rend. Oh, he bites, or he hits him with his foot.
I could not tell you a single spell that your character has. As a player that's committed to my game, I know that I can trust you to do it correctly.
Oh, yeah.
And that however you want it to look is fine. And I may not know exactly what spell you're casting, and I am personally fine with that. Maybe I'm a bad GM because I don't know my players 100%, their character sheets, whatever. I don't care. It's too much. It is.
It's too much, yeah.
The flair that you bring to the table is way better than saying, I cast this. I do this.
Yeah, agreed. 100% agreed.
Okay, what type of damage was that?
Exactly. I would never say...
a question like that.
Yeah, because I'm never going to be like, oh, well, King Crawl ran up and his flap open, the little rod comes out and he zaps it with lightning. And you go, okay, so then I roll the dice and I'll say 6 force damage.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to, even though it was visually lightning for everyone on the game, but by the rules, I'm going to tell you exactly what the damage actually was, because that obviously matters a lot. Yeah. But for flair, I want to, be cool. So that's just what I did.
Yeah, for sure.
Combat is something a lot of people miss out on. They'll describe maybe the killing blow, which is cool too. I do this spell, and it's like, yeah, you can, and you should. But also, what does that look like? How did you cast it? Come to think of it, the Mighty Nine, Liam O'Brien, with his mage, he was a wizard. Sorry, not mage. Wizard. Yeah, he always would say exactly what ingredient he was using in order to help him cast the spell he was doing. He had guano for he always read the exact ingredient for the exact spell, which that's way above and beyond me. He smears guano and berries on his wrist or something, and that would help him cast some sort of fire spell, which I can't think of right off the top of my head. And, he'd always explain exactly what he was crushing or twisting or biting into before he cast the spell, because he really wanted to show, hey, if I have to keep up with all these ingredients and buy them or whatever, which I might as well go through and actually use them, because I'm having to spend all the time shopping for them.
Yeah.
Because Matt Mercer in second campaign was much more ruthless with ingredients and stuff than he was in campaign 1. So
I don't mind that, honestly, though. It's something that for me as a GM, we don't have to worry about carrying weight. That one's the dumbest one ever. I hate that one. Yeah, I'll never worry about carrying weight. I'm not calculating that out. Screw that.
Yeah.
You have a bag of holding. Congratulations. Here you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's already an in-game fix
episode
for that anyway.
1. Here you go. I don't want to deal with this.
Right.
The spellcasters that don't have an arcane focus, that need to do something like that, I feel like that's kind of fair to make them have to find the stuff still. I mean, if you run your shopping sessions to where you role play them, that's a way for them to find it. But if you run your shopping sessions where it's just like, okay, let me know what you guys want to buy before we meet next time, and then give me your gold, we'll say you have it. That's fine too. But either way, you got to spend the money to get what you need.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're just hoarding gold, and no one ever spends gold. Everyone always has a surplus come level 5 or whatever.
Yeah. Everyone's hoarding it. Well, I mean, that's why I was trying to use it even in a more fun capacity, where in our campaign where we went to the toy shop and he was also a tinker, and I was like, hey, do you have spare extra gears and parts and stuff? Because I knew my artificer could use that, just story-wise, flavor-wise. He could use it to build stuff fun, or repair his gear or king crawl or whatever. So I wanted to have that. He's got a big old bag of just gears and junk in his backpack just for that occasion. So I'm not caught out when I'm like, oh, he really wants to build this really fast.
Yeah, and I knew it was more of a flavor thing too. Yeah, sure. He's got a box in the back. You gave it to me. Yeah, a couple copper, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe do a quest for him next time or something.
Yeah, it's just fun. It's just fun to kind of add that, especially into a shopping session.
Yeah, which I don't mind, because you can kind of get a source of the town, or a feel for the town.
Oh, big time. Yeah. I mean, that helped us get a lay of the land in Barovia when we were going around the city and looking for certain things. And, I wanted my artificer to get the necklace made from the spare gear from our first battle and everything. And it just helps you get around the town and get a better picture of it. It makes it feel more alive, Always up to the imagination. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. I know you said you could talk an hour about the Warhammer episode.
Yes, but I won't, for everyone's sake.
60 seconds.
I could do it in 60
minutes. Did you? Okay, I have a question, because I don't know anything about Warhammer. You're the Warhammer expert here.
Yeah, hit me with it.
I mean, you've been playing with your dad since you were, middle school?
Yes, and reading the books and everything else in between.
So were those characters actual Warhammer characters? Was that an actual story of one of the characters?
The scene itself, I couldn't tell you if it was from a book or not, but those characters were. In fact, Titus was who he was focusing on, the boy he saved that had no fear.
Yeah,
and was full of anger and hatred. That's Titus, and there are books for Titus, but Titus is also big because one of the bigger action video games for Warhammer 40K is Space Marine 1, which was a huge hit for 40K fans, even though it killed the game studio that made it. And then recently, Space Marine 2, which obviously has exploded big time. I think, in my personal opinion, Helldivers had a lot to do with that. I really want to, if it wasn't for Marvel Rivals, I really want to get you guys into Space Marine 2 because it's full co-op, it's full the story you can do together, which I think is really cool as a squad, and then you can do all the side missions, which is like Helldivers, where they just drop you in, you're being overwhelmed, which is a very Space Marine thing. Because Space Marines are such, as you saw, like how they fought those Chaos Cultists, they are the best of the best. They are the best armor, the best technology.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, they drop anywhere between 1 and 3, usually into a bad situation. Like this will kill anything else we send in here unless it's Space Marines. That's why if it's like a bigger squad, or if you send a whole chapter, you know the world is really screwed lore-wise. But you drop them in, and they're just instantly overwhelmed, but they're basically just immortal without fighting something that's just beyond them, like a demon.
Yeah.
So the cool thing was you got to see the cultists, which really just elevated how amazing and unkillable Space Marines are. Mm-hmm. Well, they're Primaire Space Marines. I won't get into that.
And then they walk off a cliff.
Yes. Well, and that was the cool thing was a lot of the conflict in 40K, don't get me wrong, there's like 30 something factions and races, is between Mankind and Chaos, which is their counter opposite. Because Mankind rules 80% of the universe, or the galaxy. Sorry, not the universe, the galaxy. The flip side of that is the people, the humans who walked away from that and started worshiping Chaos gods. And they are like the counterbalance to the Imperium. And there's probably a huge debate and argument we can get into about that. But so they're kind of like, the good guy, bad guy, even though there's definitely no good guy in 40K. The cool thing was in the episode is that they brought in a Chaos God that we don't normally see in main media. Not that there is a lot of main media 40K, which is Tzeentch, which they didn't even say his name through this episode. So you probably never even heard that word.
No.
Again, I'm not going to get into it due to time, but there are 4 major Chaos gods, and one of them is Tzeentch. And Tzeentch is the god of change and plotting and lying and planning, and he's always changing things. Oh, there's like a piece of paper that suddenly like unburned and came back from being burned in the beginning. When they fell down that pit, all of a sudden the pit changed, and now they're standing up in it. That's all Tzeentch shenanigans.
Okay.
He can bend and change reality to whatever he wants, and he's constantly doing it to only his own plans. So they knew walking into that it was going to get crazy, and it did.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, there was no light in the pit. They fought blue demons, which again, Tzeentch, the blue blood, that was everywhere.
Okay.
And then the statue at the end was a greater demon. Basically, it was like an idol that the cultists were worshiping. Probably, if I had to guess, without knowing anything else besides what we saw, they were probably trying to worship it in order to make Tzeentch make the statue come to life, which he could easily do. Which, having a giant greater demon walking around is basically like, that's the end of that world. Yeah. Unless we call in the Grey Knights, that's pretty much the end of that. Let's move on from this planet. That's done. And the Imperium never wants to give up a planet. They will sacrifice billions of lives to keep a planet. To see a greater demon statue from Tzeentch was so visually cool, even though he's not even my favorite Chaos God. And then obviously you saw the Psyker that they pulled out of the suitcase.
Yeah, what was up with that? Just a man in the thing that they're dragging around?
This is like, it's so cool that they just did what happens in 40K without explaining anything. The big thing with demons and Chaos Gods also is they use the power from the warp, which is basically, in short terms, is almost like magic. That's how they use magic in this universe. And the warp is all like psychic energy. So the only way to fight that is to have a psychic with you. But the Imperium of Man is very hyper religious, to say without going into it. So to view psychers and stuff is very, with great exception, like witches, and like they usually are like, hey, psychers are mutants. We don't like that. They're not pure. Get them out of here. When they need them for battle, you better believe they use them every chance they can. Like, it's very hypocritical. When you're fighting demons and stuff, you are fighting the warp. So you need magic. You cannot just kill them with a gun or a sword. You just can't. So you have to have someone who's psychically inclined. So they drug this poor bastard through a battlefield who clearly wouldn't have survived it on his own.
No, inside of this metal suitcase thing.
Yeah, which they were obviously protecting with their lives. Popped him out. He immediately knew what his job was. Mm-hmm. He started praying to the Emperor, using his psychic power, and that was basically giving them a bubble to protect them from all the demon awful shenanigans that was going to happen once they start assaulting the statue. Because that's the thing, you don't know what's going to happen. You're about to piss off a Chaos God directly. Yeah. So bad things are going to happen to you immediately. In fact, the opening monitor said, this is a suicide mission. You guys aren't going to come back from this.
Yeah.
This is a complete, you're dead if you go here and do this. So they knew, all right, we're going to blow up the statue and basically hope we get out, but we know we're not going to get out.
Next mission.
Yeah. What's the other missions? Can I choose from a catalog?
But where's the world map here? Come on.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I need a world map, please. Can I select from my ship? The statue is being, of course, protected by a sorcerer demon, which Tzeentch is very, 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 very powerful in direct magic stuff.
Oh, yeah,
magic
shenanigans. She was just killing them like crazy, man.
Oh, yeah. And they went for the demon. They knew the demon had to be killed first, and the demon tricked them, as is Tzeentch. Always trickery, always one step ahead of you. And they tricked the Space Marines to walk away from the Psyker, and the Psyker immediately died, and they're just effed right off the board.
Yeah.
Because they have no way to fight anything psychic at all. And then you got to see the demon basically going into their mind, turning their fears against them.
Basically stopping time.
Yeah, stopping time, and then the whole mind thing was they're turning their fears against them.
Yep.
And the only one that survived that, of course, was
the one with no fear.
Titus. Yeah.
I got all that. I was like, okay, that's simple to understand.
So the tweak to that was the commander, because he kept bringing it up, right? I saved a boy who had no fear, but he was full of hate. That, okay, Star Wars reference, much like leading you to the dark side, often leads you to chaos because you hate so much. You just want to be free of these rules and this religious restrictions. And so you just hate and you just want to kill. Typically, at some point, that'll lead you down chaos, and then chaos gods give you power, yada, yada. So his fear when the demon invaded him was Titus turning to chaos and then stabbing him, which was his greatest fear, was Titus would be like a crazy powerful chaos space marine, basically. So then, but when the demon got to Titus was so without fear, he had nothing for the demon to turn on him. And so Titus saw the demon for what he was and was able to break the spell and out of
destroy
pure hatred. Yeah, and destroy him.
So does Titus become evil ever in the your books and stuff?
So far, the furthest story we have of Titus is Space Marine 2, and he's pretty high up ranked, so he's definitely been promoted since secret level in the Ultramarines. And no, he's been under the Inquisitor. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'm trying so hard to gloss over
there's still time for him to turn evil.
Oh, yeah. There was definitely moments because he's able to do certain things with psychic forces I won't get into that has called the Inquisition to be very wary of him going to chaos. So I mean, I'm pretty sure he was under Inquisition, which means he was captured by an Inquisitor and interrogated, tortured, however you want to say it, for like a century. He had him until he was convinced, okay, he's good. Space Marines don't have an age limit because they're genealogy and technology and stuff. I think he had him for a century before he let him go, which then led into Space Marine 2. Because I think he got caught by Inquisition after Space Marine 1. Then there's a book series about it. And then there's Space Marine 2. The rumor is, because Henry Cavill is going to do the 40K live action with Amazon. The rumor, which we all know the rumors have been really bad and unreliable. That's the word. Unreliable for this series. But the rumor is that Henry Cavill is looking at a popular character from 40K, which is rare, that everyone knows, and he might just go with Titus, since Titus has been brought in several times now into the mainstream that people would know, and maybe he'll do the whole series around Titus. Because they are hundreds of characters, if not more.
He's a big nerd too, Henry Cavill.
Oh yeah. Oh,
which you would never think him.
Oh no, I know it.
He was The Witcher too, right?
Superman, The Witcher. Because he read all the books of The Witcher and he walked away from that because Netflix wasn't following the books close enough. Yeah. And so he says, no, I want to be faithful to fans, I'm out. And then he went to Amazon saying, hey, I want to do a Warhammer series. Are you down? Amazon was like, yes, but we want to make changes. And that's when he's like, oh, okay, full stop. I'm literally coming to you because I want full control. And they finally agreed on it in December.
Yeah, I'm sad because Witcher, that was such a good show.
I think they're going to continue it with his brother, aren't they?
Are they?
His brother's going to be the Witcher?
Okay.
I think so.
See, I don't know much about the lore, so it doesn't bother me if they change it.
Well, right. Me too.
I just want to watch it. Come on, give me the demons and devils and
I know the books are huge and people absolutely love them to death, and I know the games got big. I played Witcher 3.
Yeah, I played the games.
Yeah, the games were freaking awesome. So I know the books are much beloved, but it's like, yeah, like I love the show, man. Like I'm cool with whatever they want to do with it.
Yeah, did
like
you ever
I'm
watch
enjoying
the
it so far.
spinoff of the
what was it called? First Blood or whatever?
Yeah, something like that.
I saw first few episodes, and I know it's not canon, but I did love it. Like I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It was pretty good. I know that's why a lot of people got upset because it's not. You're not supposed to know the origin of witchers. It's supposed to be lost to time.
Yeah.
But I loved it though. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought it was
great.
really cool. Yeah, I thought it was really cool. Yeah, so hopefully Henry Cavill will then come around and make 40K even more mainstream than.
Yeah, I'd watch that just to get to know more about it.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt. I mean, again, 1 10-minute episode of a couple of Space Marines, and I could sit here and I could chew your ear off for the next.
I know you could.
Oh, even longer, because I was touching on stuff I realized you have no reference to. So
no, I know nothing for.
I could go down the rabbit hole so hard, but I'm not. We're not going to do that. We're going to be good. I'm going to be good. But I loved it. It was great. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed it. Even if I didn't understand what was going on in half of it. It was still a good watch.
Recommend. They did. They left a lot of it to be like, hey man, this is just what it is.
Every episode had a twist.
Yeah, true. That is true.
After a while, I was like, okay, what's the twist going to be?
Yeah. What's about to happen?
And then I think there was one episode where there wasn't one. I was like, oh, they got me with no twist.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, to me, I think mine was probably Mega Man. I'm like, oh, he became Mega Man. Okay, that was it. All right, the end. We got it. No twist.
Yeah, that was Mega one Man that I saw coming. I was like, yeah, no, that's too obvious.
I mean, it was so cool, but it was like, okay, we got it.
I think that's all the time we got. Thanks for listening. Thanks for stopping by. And we hope that you have safe travels as you adventure forth.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time on Not Just NPCs Podcast.